Hi guys, it's Carissa, and today I'm going to talk about my 25th week of pregnancy. Week 25 was pretty busy. I know I've talked a lot about the fact that we went out of town, but I have some notes on kind of my experience when we went, and just a few things that are new as of week 25. I usually like to kind of categorize these into things that I was feeling and then things that happened, but this list is all over the place, and I'd rather not take the time to rearrange it, so just follow me the best you can. And if you think like you normally watch my videos and you're like, you organize those somehow? Yes, a very slight amount. I try to organize the information, so sorry about that. One of the most exciting things that happened in week 25 was that Lisa, my friend Lisa Marie TTC, announced my online baby shower. We are so thankful and so honored that that's even a thing. I'll be pulling together my Amazon list, and these showers are part of a private group, but if you would like to participate, I will have my wish list linked below the videos for the next couple of weeks until we announce a shower date. I'll be sure to have as much information for you as I can in my next video or the one after that, depending on when we figure out the timeline for things. So there's something that's been going on for a long time now, for weeks, and I figure, you know, not everything is pregnancy related. Some things just happen. And I always figured that this was one of those things. But I noticed that my palm, specifically on my right hand for some reason, my palm has been so itchy. It's like an insatiable itch. I can't scratch it enough. I found myself just trying to like scratch it just a little bit, but not keep going, because then it would just never feel satisfied. And I really sometimes would get irritated by it. Like, I'd want to rub it on like the corner of furniture or something, or on the edge of the wall, but I just try to restrain myself because I didn't want to make things worse. And it doesn't look red, it doesn't seem affected. Well, I was going through one of my pregnancy apps, and in week 25 there was a short passage on itchy palms. And I guess some women experience this on the bottom of their feet as well. And it's actually a thing that happens to pregnant women. It didn't have a whole lot of information about it. It just kind of made it sound like, don't be ashamed, and, you know, just know that this is normal and it should go away. Because a lot of women, I guess, have very visible redness from these itchy spots. But I thought that was so funny because, I don't know, I guess I just couldn't, it didn't compute to me how that would even matter or be a pregnancy symptom. I don't know, but I found that very amusing. Something else that I noticed is that I think that I tend to bruise more easily now. I always have been really clumsy, and I know I've been even more so in pregnancy, but I'm the kind of person that runs into things so often that I don't even keep a mental record of having done it. So when I end up with a pretty severe looking bruise, and I guess I shouldn't say severe, but just for what it was, it kind of catches me off guard because I don't have any recollection of what it was that I did. Just for example, I had one on my leg, and I had been wearing a lot of shorts, you know, the last few weeks. It's still pretty warm here, and I had a bruise about the size of a quarter. And Mike was really concerned about it because it was kind of dark, at least compared to the color of my legs. And I just joked with him. I was like, oh, that's Bruce Springsteen. And, you know, he was like, no, seriously, what's wrong with you? You know, what happened? And I said, I don't know. I must have run into something. But I feel like that bruise hung around for a really long time. So I was giving him all sorts of fun names, like Bruce Banner and Bruce Wayne. And Mike, after a while, was just not amused by it and was like, can you just please be more careful? But honestly, for as clumsy as I tend to be, and for as many walls and tables and doorknobs as I run into, I normally don't bruise. So the fact that I did, and so badly in this one spot on my leg, and then I had another one on the back of my elbow, which I think is from when we were painting the nursery. I hit it on something. It just kind of surprises me, but I know that my body's full of so much extra blood right now that probably has something to do with it. I'm sure there's more science behind why that happens, but it's something that I've definitely been affected by. So let's talk about traveling while pregnant. And I don't mean air travel because I didn't do that. I can only imagine that comes with its whole other set of challenges and difficulty and frustrations and discomfort. But we took a roughly 5-hour drive for Mike's brother's wedding into the Catskills. And we brought the dogs with us, which was nice because it was a good excuse for us to stop pretty frequently, so that I could get out and walk around and sometimes, use a bathroom somewhere and let the dogs get out, walk, drink some water, and go to the bathroom. So it worked out well. Not that I'm saying I wouldn't have been reason enough to do it, but I think I'm the kind of person who just sort of deals with things. I guess I just don't prioritize my needs that strongly. Even though I know I should, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can go another half hour or whatever. So the drive down was perfectly fine, or up. I don't know where it is from here. And I navigated a good amount of the way, so I don't know. But the drive there was great. The dogs did well, we did well. I was almost more stressed about the flowers and just making sure that everything was okay, that we had packed things wisely. And honestly, the trip is closer to like 4 hours and 20 minutes, but with all the stops, it took a little over 5 hours. And that can be tough to sit in a vehicle for a long period of time, but we took Mike's truck, so I had a little more leg room than I would have if we were in my car. And I feel like I did well. I tried to stay hydrated, and I tried to be careful about, where I was putting pressure on my back and how I was sitting, and just be mindful of that. The ride back was a different story entirely. And there were a few things that I think were contributing factors. One of them was the fact that the area where we were in did not have cell service, and I'm not exaggerating. It had very, very little cell service, and it was very sort of sensitive. So just for example, the room we were staying in, we were in like an Airbnb cabin. It was a nice cabin. And I had no cell service in the room that I was in, but I got up at one point to go to the bathroom at like 2 in the morning, and I got a text message from my dad that had come through at 5 o'clock that night. Because I just sort of walked through an area with service and it popped up, but I couldn't answer it. I mean, I wouldn't have at that hour anyway, but it was just like, it was that sensitive. So it was really hard to get cell service. So we couldn't use our navigation system for about an hour to and from the venue. So I had it all set up on my phone. I had the directions all there, and we had a printed map just in case. And I had pictures of the destination and the routes on my phone, which I could access, but I just couldn't actually look anything up. And I think just looking at my phone so much for that first hour that we were driving really did a number on me. Not to mention, all of the roads were very, very windy and curvy, and they would go from 60 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour, and back and forth pretty drastically. And I don't think I ate enough. That's something that I guess I should talk about as being an issue for the entire week, but I'll go back to that. So I felt incredibly nauseous, so car sick. I didn't really have a headache, but I just felt like I've never felt so close to vomiting as I have this entire pregnancy. And it kind of makes me laugh because I remember how badly I wanted morning sickness, and I couldn't handle a couple of hours of nausea in the car. So that tells me that I should really appreciate the fact that I was lucky in that regard. A couple of times we made stops, and I tried to have a little bit of a snack. Not too much because I didn't feel like I wanted to eat, but as soon as I started eating, I felt better. And I truly think that a lot of the issue was that I hadn't eaten enough before we left, and so I was traveling those windy roads on an empty stomach, or close to empty stomach, and that was causing the problem. It's been really tough for me though, because I've been having a hard time with eating as much as I feel like I should or need to, just because I feel guilt about sometimes the quantities that I'm eating or the things that I'm choosing to eat just out of either convenience or need, just because I'm suddenly feeling very, very hungry and I need to eat something quickly for results, so that I feel like I'm full and I've nourished myself and the baby. I feel like I don't make terrible choices most of the time, but I have been feeling so self-conscious about my weight gain, and I've been feeling so nervous and scared about having difficulty giving birth, and any decisions that I make now that could cause problems down the road. I have severe anxiety about not living through the birth, which I know, 10, 15 extra pounds more than what I was hoping to gain is not going to affect that. But what if it did, So I've been developing a little bit of a weird pattern where I don't feel comfortable eating around other people. Or when I do, I feel really conscious of the fact that I'm eating around other people and that maybe they're questioning my choices, or I don't know, I'm overthinking it for sure. And being around Mike, I don't know why, but he's one of the people that causes me the most stress. And he hasn't done or said anything to make me feel like I should feel that way, but it's just been a really strange mental game, I guess, that I've been playing with myself. And of course, I'm making sure to eat enough. In fact, I'm sure I eat more than I should. I also have concerns about still potentially being flagged for gestational diabetes down the road. So I am trying to make smart choices, eat things that don't make me feel awful, make sure I'm nourishing myself. But I also have this weird thing where I feel stressed about it. I can't really put it into words. I feel like I'm not adequately describing what's going on. But you guys know that that's sort of been a point of stress for me. And I think maybe just being around a lot of other people, especially other people that I don't know, and being in sort of like a living situation is in terms of that, and just feeling judged, even if I wasn't being judged, I think that affected me. I can tell you now, I'm not in that headspace as badly as I was in week 25. I guess I'm just having a hard time explaining that. I'll think about it more in the coming weeks. If it continues to be an issue, I'm going to talk to my doctor about it. She did not seem to have any issue with my weight gain at the time when I spoke to her about it before. In fact, she dropped the subject almost immediately and acted like she didn't even need to dignify it with with much, which was frustrating on my part. I almost hoped that she would agree with me. I don't know. So that's just been a thing, and I don't know what else to say about it, but I am eating. I'm eating enough, sometimes too much, but it's okay. I'm working on all that. The only other thing that I would say about travel during pregnancy is just, I give people a lot of credit for doing it. I know there are probably women who travel for their jobs or like stay with family for certain amounts of time out of the year. People who have regular vacations they take every year and pregnancy doesn't stop them, they still go. That's all so admirable to me now, because after having traveled, and I was just gone for 3 days, I realized what a perfect little cocoon of comfort I've created for myself at home, and how disrupted that feels when I'm not here. Just for example, I am constantly blowing my nose, constantly. My nose is so dry. It's not stuffed up, but it's so dry, and it's just always full of just junk, and it never goes away. And I feel like if I could, I would just have a finger up my nose all day long, because I can't stand how it feels. So I have tissue boxes all over the house, everywhere. And they're good tissues. Like I get good tissues because I'm always blowing my nose. And when you're not home and the only thing you have to use is like 1-ply toilet paper, which barely is enough, or I don't have tissues in every little spot in every little room to blow my nose. Just little things like that, or the setup of the fans, or what a bed feels like, for example. I just realized how much I've pampered myself, and how little room I give myself for just very basic relaxation, and how few and far between the times are when I don't burden myself with obligations, or with to-do lists, or with anything. I had a hard time trying to just relax. And that's something I tease Mike for all the time at home, but I am just as guilty, and I learned that really quickly. But the wedding was lovely. It was nice to spend time with family and meet new people. I think I have reached officially the point in my pregnancy where I start to, You hear all the time about people offering horror stories, oversharing their birth experience, just with everything. There's just a general enthusiasm for motherhood, I think, and people are so willing to share what they've experienced. I mean, look at me. I'm sharing this right now with you guys. I think this is something that's just old as the hills. When someone knows you're pregnant, they can't wait to tell you about all the things that are going to be wrong in your life going forward, or how bad other people's children are and how quickly they ruin things. And I don't know, it's just so funny to me, the things that people say, and it's all shaded with a lot of heavy negativity. You know, they don't say it to sound awful, but sometimes it's like, wow, I can't believe the things that people choose to say to me regarding their kids or other people's kids that they know, or, you know, just how little sleep some people have. They were miserable, and it's just so funny to me that that is what comes up. And I'm not saying that I won't do the same thing someday. I will very likely pile all that stuff on somebody else, but I really hope I don't. I really hope I don't do that to someone. I am going to try and make a proclamation here and now that I'll never walk up to somebody and be like, just you wait until, and then say something really awful after that. Like, just you wait until they're throwing up every day for 4 months because they go through a phase. Especially a couple that has had so much trouble conceiving. You would think that there is nothing that they wouldn't just absolutely wholeheartedly love to experience. Even the really awful stuff. They might not see it the same way if it's something that they've worked so hard for. So I guess sometimes I just feel like it doesn't matter who the audience is. If it's a pregnant woman, they've got their lines and they're gonna spit them out, and I just have to nod and smile. So the day after I got back from the wedding, I had an appointment with my doctor. She confirmed that the glucose test was fine. She was perfectly happy with it, and she was going to have me repeat the 1 hour after week 28. And that's also when I will start having standing appointments every 4 weeks for an ultrasound and a non-stress test. So I have some pretty flattering lighting going on right now and a relatively flattering camera angle, but I'm sure you guys can tell that I have gained weight in my face. I mean, I'm sure I've gained weight everywhere, but I don't feel that much bigger anywhere else, honestly. I have a little bit of trouble wearing my rings. Not my actual wedding set. Those are still too big from when I lost weight over the last couple of years, but I have a bunch of just cheap sort of stand-in rings until I felt comfortable getting that resized. And none of those really fit me comfortably. They're not even too tight. They just feel, I don't know, have I talked about this before? They don't feel too tight, but they make my finger feel achy. I don't know what that is. It's like my finger doesn't like the rings being on there, even though it feels normal and like loose and I can move it around. But my finger has this strange ache that goes kind of through right here when I have it on. I don't know what that's all about, but I just kind of don't want to deal with it, so I don't wear any of those. The one place where I feel like I've gained so much weight is right here. I'll just be sitting on the couch looking at my phone, and I can just feel there's just so much double chin there. It feels like a big spare tire, and I can kind of catch myself every now and then feeling uncomfortable. It almost feels like there's something there that I need to get rid of, but it's not. I mean, there is something there, but it's not something that I can just take off and put on the coffee table. It is my chin. So that's so that's going on. I don't know, it just feels so big down here. Especially if I'm looking at a camera right now, so my head is lifted. But if I'm just watching TV or sitting around and looking at stuff, apparently this is my natural positioning because I just feel like that's all I can feel, and it's so disturbing. I guess that wasn't really there before, but now it is. So again, this is just one of those things. Some people get swollen ankles, which I might still get. I got a swollen face. So I'm just gonna enjoy it, I guess, as much as one can enjoy something like that. And lastly, I have started Christmas shopping. If you follow me on my other channel, I made a video last year, and boy didn't I think I was so smart. I wrote down all the things that I bought for people last year, and ideas for the next year, if there were things that I had thought of or that had come up, what people bought and contributed to our family Christmas party with, where we ordered food from and why. You know, was it because of the pricing or because we had a coupon or whatever, because for some reason there were discrepancies on all of that. It's going to save us a lot of time and stress this upcoming year. And by us, I mean not just Mike and I, but our whole family, because it'll be nice for everyone to have some of that information. But I'm finding that that list is coming in handy now, because I can start my Christmas shopping and see who I need to buy for, what I got them last year, so I don't buy repeat gift. I mean, after a while, you just like, did I buy them that yet already? I don't remember. So make sure I don't buy them repeat gifts. If someone gave me something unexpectedly and I didn't have something for them, I have that on a list, etc., etc. And so now I can kind of go through and check off people that I've purchased for, and I'm hoping in the next week or so I can start wrapping. I pulled the wrapping paper out in the basement, and I'm going to just every now and then, once I get a decent accumulation, I'm going to wrap a bunch of things and put them in a tote, because who knows where we will actually become a family of 3 in the month of December. So wouldn't it be nice for all of that to be done in case it happens sort of earlier than we're expecting and I'm not prepared. I know that people aren't expecting me to be on top of that kind of stuff, but I don't know, that's just one of the things that's helping me pass the time between now and then, is preparing for that in addition to the other things that I need to do. And it feels too early to pack a hospital bag now, so I need something to start working on. So that's it. I'm sorry this was so long and neurotic and full of complaints. I hope I don't ever sound like I'm complaining. I just want you to know kind of what goes on and how things have been feeling, what things are like, and I hope it never comes off that I'm not so grateful to be in the position I'm in. Sometimes when I'm editing, I just can't stand myself, you know, so maybe that's why I worry and I second guess things. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.